Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. I have some good news for you. Our episode on the life of Ukrainians abroad is now available on all podcast platforms, as well as our YouTube channel. Don't forget to share our long talk with your friends and on social media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 488 days, Ukraine defends itself against the Russian invasion. Yesterday, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy visited frontline positions in East and South in the Donetsk and Zaporizhia regions. In his evening video address, the president said, "Yesterday was a happy day as Ukraine's warriors have advanced in all directions and he wished them more days like this." Zelenskyy gave out military awards, including 2 gold stars of the Hero of Ukraine, to Captain Oleg Oliva, commander of the Air Mobile Company of the 81st Separate Airborne Assault Brigade, and Major Serhiy Dudin, deputy commander of the Marine Battalion of the 35th Separate Brigade. Ukrainian forces liberated the village of Rivnopil, Donetsk Oblast, reports Unian. According to the military, from all sides, the settlement was surrounded by minefields of a very complex nature. Engineering troops managed to break a corridor through. There was not a single civilian in Rivnopol because the settlement was completely destroyed. On the Melitopol front in southern Ukraine, Ukrainian troops advanced 1.5 kilometers as a result of systematic pressure on Russian positions, reports Interfax Ukraine. According to Valery Shershin, spokesperson for the Joint Press Center for the Tavria Front, currently Ukrainian troops secured their positions at the borders reached. According to him, there is an ongoing aerial reconnaissance of the area, mandatory mine clearance. The defense forces are shelling identified enemy targets and carrying out counter-battery countermeasures. As Shershin informed, during the last day, Russians lost 146 occupiers killed, 229 wounded, and 4 captured. Ukrainian forces also destroyed 15 units of Russian weapons and military equipment. Reuters informs that the United States is preparing to announce on Tuesday a new package of military aid to Ukraine worth up to $500 million, reports European Pravda. The package will include ground equipment to support the Ukrainian counteroffensive and air defense equipment. According to the media sources, the package will include 30 Bradley fighting vehicles and 25 Stryker armored personnel carriers, as well as munitions for HIMARS, anti-tank weapons including javelins, and munitions for Patriot and Stinger anti-aircraft systems. The weaponry and equipment will be taken from the stockpiles of the US Army. The Polish government will hand over thousands of machine guns and millions of ammunition to the Ukrainian army, reports Militarny. This was announced by Polish Internal Minister Mariusz Kamiński. He said that the weapons will go to the Ukrainian security services. According to the media, Poland will probably transfer Kalashnikov machine guns of Soviet caliber, as it has about 10,000 machine guns of this type at storage warehouses due to rearmament to similar systems of the NATO standard. The media stresses the transfer of thousands of machine guns will be an important event for the Ukrainian military, because the army is experiencing a significant shortage in the entire range of infantry weapons, including machine guns. Denmark plans to decommission its F-16 fighter jets in 2025, which is 2 years ahead of schedule, reports NVUA. Acting Minister of Defense Troels Lund Poulsen said that the transfer of F-16s to Ukraine is also approaching. He noted that the decommissioning of F-16 fighters was made possible by the faster commissioning of the F-35, which will replace them. According to him, Ukrainian pilots will need 6 to 8 months of training before the transfer of Danish F-16 aircraft becomes a reality. The EU Council agreed to increase by €3.5 billion the upper limit of financing of the European Peace Fund, from which compensation is paid to countries for weapons transferred to Ukraine, reports European Pravda. This way, the overall funding will be increased to more than €12 billion. At the same time, Hungary did not support the allocation of another €500 million tranche from the European Peace Fund to EU member states, due to Ukraine's inclusion of the Hungarian OTP Bank in the list of war sponsors for continuing to work in Russia. The district court in Kyiv has announced a verdict in the case of the attack on Kherson activist Katerina Handzyuk, reports Bukvy. According to the decision of the court, Vladislav Manher, former head of the Kherson Oblast State Council, was found guilty of ordering the attack, and Alexei Levin, known as a criminal authority in Kherson, in organizing it. Both of them were sentenced to 10 years in prison. The defendants must also pay 15 million hryvnias, which is more than $400,000, to Handzyuk parents and husband. The defense has 30 days to appeal the verdict. After that, it will come into force. Katerina Handzyuk was a Ukrainian civil rights and anti-corruption activist who exposed corruption in her hometown of Kherson. She was attacked with acid in July 2018 and died from injuries in November at the age of 33. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just 2 people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.